My dream would be for the economic and political independence of black people.
There you go.
Let me give you an example.
There you go.
Let me give you an example.
You got to kill it.
My dream would be but that'll be your dream.
No, you got to kill
no,
your
you
dream
don't.
for that. I'm gonna give you an example. World War II. United States dropped 2 atomic bombs, one in Nagasaki and one in Hiroshima. Decimated Japan. Japan threw their hands up and said, I quit. I'm sorry, because they attacked Pearl Harbor. So then they turned around and dropped 2 atomic bombs on Japan. Japan said, fuck it, I quit. You know, and at the time, Japan was a world power. United States now said, okay, boom. Put military bases on your property, in your country. Now, the United States got a military presence in Japan. My point is, today, Japan owns more than 10% of this country. They came back, they sit at the table with the United States making world decisions. And they came back from the devastation. When I say devastation, you understand the devastation. And anybody who don't know, look it up. Look up Hiroshima, Nagasaki, and its effects on Japan's people, economy, culture, all of that. You can go on Google and look that up and read up about it and see how the Japanese people were crushed. They bounced back. What they did, they had a national agenda. Japan now owns more than 10% of the wealth of this country. And for one nation to control that, that is a lot. And
not only this country,
without
Africa too.
A lot of different countries. I'm just talking about United States. And they did it without firing a shot. You understand what I'm saying?
So Brother Larry is shaking his head no. What you mean now,
no,
Larry?
that's not. I'm not shaking my head no, right? And I accept the example. However, I only feel it's necessary to point out to you, right, that you cannot juxtapose Japan in 1945 and the devastation of two Japanese cities with black people in the diaspora. And
I'm talking about black people in the United States. I'm not talking about people in the diaspora.
Well,
the diaspora includes the world.
Yeah,
it's part of the diaspora.
Listen.
Hold on. And you're talking about a country that's big as California.
Okay, but time out.
All right, remember that.
You're talking about islands.
So you say 2 cities.
You're talking about islands.
Look, you're talking about 2 cities in a total country that's the size of California. Go ahead.
Now, they killed like 200,000 Japanese.
No, more than that. Come on, baby.
No,
it was more than
like
200,000. No, it was more than 200,000.
Okay, well, let's not bog down the triviality, right? My point is, my larger point is that the difference in the structure of a country with the ability to have a national identity, right? And black people here without the ability to have a national identity.
Why? Why we don't have the ability to have a national identity?
Okay, that's a different conversation, but let's have it.
Oh, but that's germane to the point.
Yeah.
That's germane to the point.
Let's have it.
Let me ask you this: do the Koreans have a national identity?
Yeah.
All right. Do Italians have a national identity?
Yeah.
All right.
Now, do black people in America have a national identity?
No, they don't.
Now,
You said the ability to.
What I'm saying to you, brother, is my larger point in that context is that coming out of the darker period of oppression of black people in this country, right? Black people kind of scattered. And for the most part, when they scattered, they never communicated with the scattered parts. Some ran to Detroit, some never left. They stayed in ground zero, down in the South, right, or wherever it was, Alabama, Texas, what have you, right? Some ran to New York, some ran out of the country to Canada, right? And they actually be in Canada, they call themselves French Canadians. In some parts of the country, they look like us and call themselves Indians. In some parts of the country, they call themselves African Americans. In some parts of the country, we call ourselves black. In some parts of the country, they still refer to themselves as Negro. You understand? So we have never had this conversation where we came together as a people
Of course,
Yes, we
had
did.
the conversation.
Jesse
what did
Jackson.
Marcus Garvey say?
And
What does Marcus Garvey say?
Where was Marcus Garvey at?
Yo, cause Marcus Garvey had over 2 million members. He was worldwide.
What I'm trying to
No,
get
you said we
Yeah,
never
hold
had
up,
the
hold up,
conversation.
Larry. Listen, Larry.
Go
You
ahead.
said we never had the
We
conversation.
did have the conversation.
Not only-
What did Elijah Muhammad say?
Yeah.
Elijah Muhammad had the conversation.
Help me
See,
out.
understand what
Jesse
you're doing.
Jackson had the conversation. He the
Listen.
one that called you what? African American.
Yeah, check it out.
So
Hold
he
on a second,
gave
hold
you
on a
that
second.
term.
Hold on a second. You're comparing.
Y'all missing my point.
You're comparing.
Just listen.
You're comparing the ability for us to communicate when we left the plantation and went north to our ability to communicate on a national level in 2010.
No.
You know how many people gonna see this tape right here? The ability to look, the world has changed,
And-
we have the ability right now to form a national agenda.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
we have the ability to do it, but we have yet to do it.
But
No,
how?
I'm not agreeing. I'm not
Now,
disagreeing with that.
listen. Here
That's
you go.
True. That's true.
How do we take the steps on doing that, Larry? Go ahead.
First of all, my point was that this is what we need to do. We need to begin to work on this because wars are fought in stages. Okay, so you have to have a strategy moving forward. You have to have the ability to recruit troops. You have to have the ability to have those troops have one vision. You understand? So we have to communicate with each other wherever we are, and we have to decide how we're going to move forward and as who we're going to move forward. You notice that when I tell you we never had this conversation, the media had this conversation. Jesse Jackson had a press conference with the media and had this conversation. Elijah Muhammad made pronouncements. Louis Farrakhan makes pronouncements. That's not this conversation because
What about the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey?
what I'm saying to you, brother, is that
Did the message go out worldwide?
Marcus Garvey
Africans
was
in the land?
1920s. The 1920s, okay, is Marcus Garvey. What I'm saying to you, brother, is that when we talk about our people, we can stand up individually and say our people, and in our minds mean all black people. Excuse me. In our minds mean all black people. But in all black people's minds, they're not thinking about all of us the same way we're
See,
thinking
all
about
black
all of
people
us.
aren't black people. Mixed in those black people is the Negro. You understand? My
Who
contention.
you calling a Negro?
I call the Negro as one who doesn't have knowledge of self. He was in creation of the slave master to be a tool for him and a weapon against each other. That's the Negro to me. The black person is someone who has a knowledge of self and recognizes what his enemy is, who his enemy is, and has a desire to rise above it.
Can I ask you on camera in front of young blacks, right, to think about this 1 second before you answer and to consider that when we differentiate amongst ourselves, Negro, field nigga, field nigga, house nigga, real nigga, fake nigga. When we differentiate amongst ourselves, what we actually doing is assisting the enemy. Because
Hold on a second. Go ahead.
Let him make us. Yeah.
because if I'm hearing you, right? Not saying me now hearing you, but if I'm hearing you and I may happen to be the type of individual whom you describe as Negro, and I hear this, that's an assault on me. So now I'm looking at you like you're the enemy. Wait a minute. You understand? So now I'm not telling you that we don't have individuals with problems.
Are you asking me a question or are you telling
No,
me something?
I'm stating this, and here's going to be the question to you. I'm not telling you we don't have individuals
Well,
with
you already
problems.
asked one question.
What I'm saying is, when you make these distinctions amongst us, can you see that that's kind of divisive?
No, I don't see it as being divisive. I see it as as the white man would say, calling a spade a spade. That's how I see it. All right, because by me differentiating between what I consider a black person, and this is me, I'm speaking for me. I'm not speaking for everybody. I'm speaking for me. All right. When I speak on someone who is black, and when I speak on someone who is a Negro, I fully understand who the Negro is. All right.
How?
When he brought our ancestors over here on them ships, in the literature, right? He clearly says, we loaded the African on the ship. Once that African stepped foot on this land, the next generation were Negroes. When did that African become a Negro? He didn't become a Negro until he was indoctrinated into... Hold on, let me finish.
Right.
He didn't become a Negro until he was shaved off from all knowledge of his past,
Right.
all knowledge of his history, all knowledge of where he came from, and the only thing he knew was pick that cotton, pick that tobacco, go here, go yonder, do this, do that. He accepts Jesus Christ, the white Jesus, as his Lord and Master. You understand what I'm saying? And he will fight you, and this Negro thinks that everything is going good right now. He thinks we made so much progress right now.
He is correct. I agree.
You understand?
100.
This is the Negro that we argue with on 125th Street every day. So the Negro is a mentality.
There you go.
It's a mental state of mind, right? And I'm hoping that anybody who sees this, and give you a perfect example, my son's mother. I called her a Negro one day. She heard me have this conversation with somebody about what a Negro was, and I called her a Negro. She said, what's a Negro? And I was telling her what a Negro was, and she said, am I a Negro? I was like, yeah. You a Negro. But you can become a black person.
Mm-hmm.
You got to understand the era of your way.
Right. There you go.
You understand? You have to understand the era of your way. You have to understand the mentality of which you are dealing with. And, that house nigga, field nigga mentality is prevalent today.
Okay.
Master house burned down, house Negro gonna run and get the water.
Okay, Larry. I was speaking to you earlier, and we was touching on that topic somewhat. And you gave me your definition of what is a nigga. You said a nigga is what, Larry?
Now hold on a second. You never heard me say nigga.
Right, but I know.
You heard me say Negro.
Right, but
And
now I'm going to the word nigga.
Death to the Negro.
Right, now I'm going... Now, hold on, Larry, hold on. Sutek say death to the Negro because he's talking about the mind state. He gave you the definition of what is a Negro, and I agree with Sutek 100%. We was made to be a Negro. When I say we, I'm talking about our people. We was made to be a Negro here in America because we were stripped of our names, our language, like he said, of everything, and we was brought up into the white man's way of thinking, of his culture. Right now, Larry, you got a white mentality right now inside of your subconsciousness. That we all got to fight. That we all got to fight to kill that Negro that's inside of our mind.
Do you find credibility in the Willie Lynch letter in The Making of a Slave?
No.
No? Okay.
There's a reason.
Wow.
No, wait, time
No,
out.
hold up, Larry.
No,
Hold
wait,
up.
time out. There's a
I
reason.
want you to ask him that question again.
Let me just say this. This is what I'm asking you. I'm not asking you, did Willie Lynch exist?
Right.
I'm asking you, do you find credibility in the Willie Lynch letter and The Making of a Slave? Do you find credibility?
Sure.
You find that's credible?
Sure.
Okay, then.
Now, before you go on, here's a question again. We talked about the term nigga, not Negro. And you gave me your definition of what is a nigga. Break that down. Sutek broke down a Negro, and then you can touch on the Negro. But break that down. What is a nigga to your understanding?
Stay tuned for part 3, where Brother Larry gives you his definition, his understanding, or his term of the word nigga and what it means.